Good morning, everyone. This session, I think, is one of the most strategic and interesting of today's conference. It's the question we're all trying to answer. So we've had the right to education, but we still have an education crisis that everyone is writing about. So what do we need to do to convert this right to education that we've given every Indian child into the ability to actually learn and to solve this education crisis? And CCS has put together a very interesting panel, a sort of multi-dimensional panel, on which we have 4 key verticals represented by each of our speakers. You have the science vertical with one of our leading scientific minds here, Mr. Muralidhar Koteshwar. You have the academic vertical with Megha Pradhan here, whom I call a sort of evidence sleuth, who they're doing research on what is leading to better learning outcomes. Then we have a politician, Mr. R.C. Jain. In fact, I would say an education activist. Complementary activity, but it helps that he's a politician because he's been able to prevent the closing down of many schools serving the poor. And we have the corporate strategist, because ultimately you do have to create ideas into working models. So Mr. Muralidhar Koteshwar is a part of the team that built India's first supercomputer, the Param at CDAC. He subsequently held leadership positions in multinational organizations, also in this area of supercomputing and so on. He is currently managing director at Sonim, which makes one of the world's most rugged phones, and is on the board of Onya Digital, a web portal and mobile apps development company. He has held a number of workshops for teachers and parents initiated by him that have reached over 1 million people in 150 countries globally. Recently, he enabled an agreement between IAHV and UNESCO to organize a global series of media and education conferences. So Mr. Koteshwar is going to share with us today his thoughts on what education is and what learning is, and how as a country we're going to be able to deliver learning to our children, and what are the kind of new strategies we need to adopt for that. Megha is with JPAL, which, as you know, has been doing a lot of fantastic work on trying to sort of collect evidence to help policy making in the country. So Megha is currently a senior policy and training associate and the regional education policy lead at JPAL South Asia. She has undertaken, as part of a team, a study that looks at what are the things that increase learning outcomes. So she's going to draw on data both from India and abroad to present to us some of their findings and recommendations. Then we have Mr. Jain, whom, as I said, has been really doing some fantastic work in saving the budget private schools. He is currently the president of the National Independent School Alliance and Delhi State Public Schools Management Association. He is the co-convener of the Shikshak Prakosth of BJP. Under his leadership, 4,000 schools in Delhi were saved from closure in the year 2006. He has saved 1,500 unrecognized schools of Delhi in 2013. These were facing closure for not being able to fulfill land norms criteria and compulsory recognition under the RTE Act. He also recently convinced the AAP government to remove Section 10(1) of the Delhi School Education Acts and Rules of 1973, which had made it compulsory for private schools to pay salary equivalent to government school teachers. So Mr. Jain will share with us today his experiences on the challenges that we will need to overcome if we are to really provide learning to every poor child in a sense that is holistic. Then we have Mr. Vikram Jain, who has been for many, many years in the corporate sector. He worked with McKinsey and so on. Over the last few years, he has been working very, very closely with slum populations, understanding the needs and the opportunities that slum communities have. So currently, he is the co-leader of FSG's Affordable Early Childhood Education Program, and He has helped to develop strategy, new business models. He has done policy, advocacy, customer research, and all of this he is going to bring today into his presentation. He's going to share with us their findings on a study they've done across 4,000 families in 8 cities, lower income families, understanding their spending habits on education and what their views are on education quality. So with this panel of 4 very diverse people, we're going to come at this problem of how do we translate the right to education into a right to learning.